Hello there everybody and welcome back to Tree of Tranquility. We are now on the 16th day of fall, halfway through the month, and I've been trying to keep pretty busy. As you can see, I changed the inside of my house. It now matches my outfit, and it also kind of matches Chase's outfit as well. We're both in dark clothing. We almost kind of camouflage into the carpet. So I decided to go ahead and change the look of my house. I think this is the only design that we had not seen yet. And so I've tried to redecorate as well with a lot of dark furniture. I kept the same bed because it kind of blends in nicely. I've got some dark tables, some chairs. Not a lot of choice in terms of cookware for me, so I decided to kind of keep the kitchen looking a little bit white just to offset the dark. I did change the large fridge to a dark colored fridge, and then upstairs I went ahead and I changed all the stuff from the very, very bright white furniture that we had to the dark brown furniture. And this upstairs area is still looking a little bit barren, but for the most part I think this looks alright. I don't really go upstairs all that much. I guess it's just more room for the cat to roam around. But I kind of like this. It's kind of nice. Purple is my favorite color, so to have a dark purple house is kind of nice. And the roof outside also looks pretty nice, so let's have a peek at that. You can see it's like a very, very dark navy blue, almost like a blackish gray color, but I quite like it. I think it looks nice, and it kind of looks nice compared to the animal barn and the coop as well. I had storms the last couple of days, so it's nice that my animals are going to be able to come out and feed in the field since they haven't had a chance to do that for a little while. I've been trying to keep this area relatively clean. I'm still kind of sort of lazy in the sense that, you know, there are still weeds out here, but it was looking a lot worse a couple of days ago. I have been going through and taking care of the majority of this field, mostly just for the sake of the look of how this all looks, really. Still haven't decided to grow anything, and I guess while I have my axe, and since I've already cleared out most of this, we can go ahead and just chop down these two little tiny trees that are very desperately trying to grow. And then we'll go check in on the silkworms. We got a couple of cocoons, a couple of eggs. I got myself a perfect cocoon the other day, so I'm just holding my breath, just hoping and waiting that we will maybe one day get that shining cocoon. I'm still waiting. There. But the silkworms are all good. Everything is good in here. I guess I might as well make some mayonnaise. I have been spending a bit of money, but I still have more money than I know what to do with. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just sell the eggs and I don't bother making it into mayonnaise, but today I will because I only have 2 eggs in my inventory. I forgot about that one, so that one I'll sell. You can see I've got a collection of cocoons going on here, so I'll have to go to the barn at some point and turn these into thread and whatnot. And we'll take a ride on the ostrich, and I'll show you one of my projects that I've decided to take upon myself just to keep me company. Long ago, I bought every single plot of land from the town hall, but I haven't bothered to actually put anything on them. And so what I decided to do was to build all of the houses that I'm able to build. I've started with the seaside plot just because it's the most sort of out of the way. You can't really see the house from the main road, and so I thought I would test the waters with this location. I just wanted to put a house up just to see if I kind of liked the idea of sprouting up this whole area with different kinds of houses. I'll probably work on the mountain plot next, and then I may or may not decide to put a house over near where my orchard is. But you can see that Dale has been working on upgrading this. I think right now this is the size 3 house, and he's going to be upgrading it to a size 4. So I don't have any furniture, obviously, because every single time Dale upgrades, their furniture gets removed, and you have to put the furniture in anyways. But it's kind of nice to see that we have couple different choices for houses. Now, unfortunately, you cannot move your family from one house to the other. The default house that you live in is going to be your family home. So this is all just bonus stuff. This is just for the sake of spending some money. I'm going to try and redecorate all 4 of the houses. That way I can use up all my furniture, and I can also have a good showcase of all the 4 styles that are available, because we only have 4 to pick from. We have cycled through them all, and we have seen them at some point in the playthrough, but I'm basically just going to be going through and making sort of the show houses, so to speak, because I can't live in them, but I figured it would be a good way for me to spend my money, and then that way it just makes the district look a little bit more inhabited. You know, it's not just me living here, it gives the illusion that more people live here. So I am going to start with the level 4 upgrades, and then I'm going to decide whether I want to go to level 5, because I may not want to do that just because of the cost of materials. Wood doesn't seem to be a problem, but I do seem to find that rocks and boulders are a little bit more scarce at this point in the game. The only reliable source of stone that I've been able to find is Praline Forest. Because this area up here I actually quite like without the house. I actually have a house as my default on my practice file that I was playing before I started this Let's Play. And so I know exactly where the house is going to be placed. And I don't know if I'm going to place one there or not. I kind of like the idea of this just being like a nice, solitary kind of orchard away from my house. Because on this piece of land, the house would go right about here, obviously right beside the mailbox. And I've cleaned out my orchard quite a bit. You can see I've taken out all of the weeds, and I also had a stray tree that was growing like right in the middle of everything, and I took that out because it wasn't going to give me any fruits or anything anyways. So generally what I'll do is I will come to the forest every single day, and I find that fairly consistently there seems to be at least 2 boulders that pop up here every single day. You can get 4 pieces of stone from each boulder, which means that usually at a minimum I'm getting about 8 pieces per day. And the higher level upgrades, I think the last upgrade that I just did to have the house at a level 4 took about 35 pieces of stone. So now I'm in the process of just recollecting the stone and getting my numbers up before I ask Dale to build another house over on that mountain plot. Because I'm fresh out, I think I've only got 3 or 4 pieces of stone at the moment, and I still have probably over 100 pieces of lumber. Sometimes there's stone on the fields, but I think because I own those pieces of land, there doesn't tend to be as much there as there used to be when I didn't own those pieces of land. And it would be a really simple thing for me to just buy things from him, like if he had sold lumber or if he sold stone, I would just buy them from him, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. I don't think I can actually do that. So we are currently sporting the gorgeous model of house, as you can see, which also is the most expensive, so that's what I have at the family home, and then the simple, the default, is on the seaside plot. And so somewhere along the way with the other 2 houses, if I do get around to building those and I decide that that's what I want to do, I'll make one execute in one country, and then we'll have sort of a show home with each of these 4 styles, which probably means that I'm just going to stick with one design. So for my main home, I'll probably just stick with the gorgeous house so I don't have to worry about redecorating. But yes, unfortunately, I cannot just order stone from him and just buy it from him. You can see that I have 11 pieces of stone, but somehow I have 152 pieces of lumber, which is just kind of bizarre. So I'm gonna have to work on getting my stone up. So now, if I pull up my friends list here really quick, I'm just gonna go for a bit of a walk here first. Back to my house. If I pull up my list, and I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I have a long list to scroll through. You will see that Julius and Candace's daughter has grown up, and her name is Angie. And it's kind of a bummer because she's actually in the mining district. If I would have known that, I wouldn't have come home. I thought she would have been closer to her house in the Caramel district, but I guess I can ride my ostrich up there and we can meet her. Because again, they had their child very close to the time that Anessa and Jin had their child, so it was only a couple of days after Van grew up that Angie grew up as well. I think she's probably heading home. Oh, see there. There's both the children. There's Van and Angie, and they're neighbors. Of course, they live side by side. We already were sort of introduced to Van. But Angie, I would say, is probably my favorite rival child. Just because she's so kind of laid back. And she's very nice, and she's a really good mix between her 2 parents. When you meet her after she's grown up, Candace describes her as having her personality but looking a little bit more like Julius. So you can see that she's a little bit withdrawn and she kind of stutters a little bit like her mom. So you can kind of see that part of her, but you can also see that she looks a lot like Julius with the purple hair. So I think she's just my favorite because I also think she's probably the cutest rival child in my opinion. So I'm gonna take some time probably to befriend the children at some point. I'm slowly making my way kind of through the list of villagers. And I think the bar is closed until 6 o'clock. So I'll have to wait until that opens. One of the other things that I've been doing, again, just to kind of give myself something to do and to just fill the time slot so I don't just wake up, feed the animals, and sleep every single day, is I've been trying to befriend some of the villagers. It's also a good way for me to spend my money because sometimes I can just buy gifts that they like. I don't have to worry about making it or growing it or like taking it from the farm. So I found out that Jake and Colleen both have a gift in common that they really, really like, and I can buy it right from the inn. So that's kind of where I've been starting. I've just been kind of giving them gifts every single day, and so it gives me a chance to spend some money. It gives me a chance to view all their dialogue, and I kind of get to know everyone a little bit better. Get to know my neighbors a bit better. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time with the eligible candidates, both male and female, so I kind of have a lot of hearts with those villagers, but I haven't really bothered to spend time with just the regular, everyday villagers. So I'm just doing kind of one building at a time, and since this is close to home, it's quite convenient for me. And they're also easy to find because they're pretty much always at the bar here, day or night, because they live here and they work here. On Sundays when it's closed, they will come out into Waffle Town. But even if I can't find them, it's just, you know, one day I'm not able to give them gifts. So I've been buying apple pie from the inn and just giving it to them. And Hayden as well, I've been befriending. I just buy a big stack of cocktails, basically, and then I'm just giving them to him as well. So, again, just a little something to give myself something to do. You can see Chase is at work, so I should probably, you know, go home and check on the baby, since the baby's home alone by herself, if I can get out the door. So that's really all that I've been up to. Those have been my kind of the major things I've been working on, just to give myself something to do. Obviously, the houses are the biggest thing, and that has been pretty time-consuming, but also pretty fun. And before you know it, it will be wintertime, the first of winter, which will be the anniversary, the first anniversary of Chase and I. So it's kind of crazy to think that that is also coming up very soon. Sell a couple of things here. I'm gonna sell the clams. I think I have some in my fridge because I do need a couple of these for cooking recipes. And the rest of these are just gifts or things I'm gonna use to dye my cocoons and all that good jazz. Oh, baby's awake. I guess I should use the rattle. It's very random to me when the baby is awake versus when they're not awake. Sometimes I'll come in the middle of the day and they're sleeping, and sometimes they're up quite late. So you just have to kind of peek in and out periodically into the house to see when your baby is awake, so you can interact with it if you are looking at increasing their hearts. Since it only takes a minute to, you know, interact with them anyways. So that's it for me. I hope you guys have liked my little interior decorating that I've been doing, and some of the things I've got planned. I figured that would just be something fun that I hadn't thought to do before, and it will just make the game a little bit more complete. So I'm gonna keep working on that, and hopefully by the time I come back next time, I'll have a few more things to show you. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.